All right, current read for this week. This one right here, Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. I'm sure most of us have heard about this man, but mostly I know about him from his shows, and I don't think I ever knew that he actually had a book. And looking at the inside cover of this thing, I think it's roughly 25 years old. I think it said the first publication date was in 2000, which is kind of interesting to see why it's being recommended to me now. But I've actually seen a couple of different people mention this book and how good it was. I mean, truly, this guy has a way with words. I'm sure if you're familiar with any of the other work that he's done with his shows and whatnot, that you would know kind of, I think he did a lot of his narration for those things too and wrote all that himself. And the way that he describes certain things and the amount of detail that he goes into is actually really, really fun to read. From what I've seen in some of these different shows that he's been a part of, I think he was a rather sarcastic, maybe a joking type of guy. And you can actually feel that in these pages, the way that he writes certain stuff. It kind of makes you laugh. He seems so sarcastic and it really is shown through his writing. Overall, it's funny. It's engaging. It's a good time reading this thing, and I'm actually learning a couple of different things too. So, for instance, I'm learning a lot in regards to when you should be eating seafood, the dangers of food poisoning, and also that most times, or 9 times out of 10, it's actually worth that gamble of that you could potentially get sick. And the kitchen atmosphere is one of the most chaotic and insane places that exists in any sort of job. And one thing that he said in this book, I'm not sure if he said this verbatim, but it's pretty close to what he said. Chefs are more or less craftsmen as opposed to artists. I like the idea of them being referred to more as craftsmen as opposed to artists, because at the amount, it's the work that goes, it's the work that gets done with their hands. It's not something that's really crossed my mind. You don't think of you think of guys that work with their hands, like there's certain trades or construction workers, but chefs do the exact same thing with their hands too. They're just preparing food. The amount of time and preparation that goes into service for these places is just absolutely wild. And every time I see YouTube videos or read stuff like this, it makes me think how these places, even profitable, are able to stay open. And then on top of that, they have to make meals the exact same way every single time. So each customer that orders whatever food that might be tastes the exact same, so everybody has the exact same experience. And honestly, that last bit there is something that has also never crossed my mind, which seems stupid to say, but you just don't think of that stuff. You go to a restaurant and you order something, you expect it to taste a certain way, and that's how it comes out. Hopefully to knock this thing out by this weekend. This book is super good. Can't wait to finish it, but also kind of bummed I'm going to. But anyways, this is what I'm reading this week. Kitchen Confidential. Peace.